to Woman Up. Kasama po natin si Attorney Carmela Magpantay. Hi, Attorney.
Hi, magandang hapon po lahat, sa inyo lahat again.
Ang ating resident psychologist na si Dr. Suzy Rojas. Hi, Suzy.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon.
Ang ating mommy money manager na si Andrea Daguno.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello. And syempre, ang ating holistic mommy na si Miss Isabel Cuervacan.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
You know, we're so lucky today because we have a very special guest. She's really the epitome of girl power. She graduated magna cum laude in economics from De La Salle University and took up law at the University of the Philippines. Yay, UP!
Yay, La Salle, magna cum laude, same.
She's a time awardee during her first term as DIWA representative and is also known for her work in Hope for Lupus, a non-profit organization dedicated to raising awareness on this condition. She is currently serving the country as the Undersecretary of the Department of Justice in charge of the IACAT and Special Protection of Women and Children, all while being a wife to DPWH Secretary Mark Villar and a doting mom to their cute daughter. So let's welcome po DOJ Undersecretary Ms. Emmeline Aglipay Villar.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining.
And also to all who are watching through are we it, or is this open to the public?
Yes, we are open po to the public. We have our viewers po, our seafarers' wives, and we have seafarers watching us from their vessels abroad. And yeah, so international po yung reach.
That's great.
How are
So,
you, ma'am? How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing well. I've adjusted well to the ECQ. In fact, I like working from home so I can be with my daughter. And I find that I'm more productive in the sense that I get more work done at home. Because before I spend a lot of time in traffic, now I don't need to leave the house. So I can do my meetings, everything through video conferencing, and at the same time do my work. So I find it the best of both worlds in the sense that I get to work and be with my family at the same time.
Yes, I know. Actually, that's one thing I don't miss talaga at all. You know, the traffic.
Yeah.
So you know, getting ready.
The traffic and the traveling to and from the house, I think that's the biggest waste of time for people who...
Yes, exactly.
When you're very busy and you're pressed for time, that's the biggest waste.
Yeah, so actually now we realize that a lot of work can be done from home. So if we can take advantage of the Telecommuting Act, which allows those jobs that can be done from home to be done at home. So it's up to the employers. It's not mandatory. So it's up to the employers to create a system within their company to be able to allow some of their workers who do not need to be present to just work from home. In this way, you know, it also reduces traffic. Some may find it beneficial to them in the sense that they can be with their families.
Yes.
Although some find it harder, since it's harder to focus if you have domestic duties. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Distractions.
May mga tayo viewers po from Ranulfo Pascobello. Hello
That's
po,
the
ma'am.
challenge. That poses...
Yeah, hello po, ma'am, from Cebu daw po. Greetings po for you, ma'am.
Hello to all those watching from Cebu.
Suzy, you're saying something?
No, I wasn't. I was enjoying the conversation. I did not realize there was a Telecommuting Act, actually.
Yes, there is, but it's not mandatory. So I actually wrote about it in one of my articles in Star and said that maybe the government could improve on this existing Telecommuting Act. And also we need to, you know, if we will shift to really encouraging employers to have this system of working from home or outside the office, then we have to also develop the infrastructure that would be able to support it. Because right now there are still a lot of places with weak
Yes.
internet
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
slow internet. So this would, of
Yeah.
course, be difficult if work needs to be done uh, through online means. So
Yeah.
that needs to be remedied in case we will really shift to or migrate to doing work online.
Yeah. But then that means that that looks like there's a great future for the change, right? And if we're
Yeah.
looking towards what a new normal would be, that would be really great. Telecommuting with better infrastructure, then that means that things can, will hopefully, well, that would assist in making things easier for all of us, in the very near future.
Yes, definitely. It's one positive thing that came out of this trial that we're going through right now is that we realize that there are different ways and more efficient ways of doing things.
Yes. It's always a positive side to everything, right?
Yeah, definitely. Let's just look at the positive.
Yeah.
I was reading your article recently, Undersecretary, on
Yes, which
the
one?
increase of abuse, increase of
Yes.
home abuse at this time.
Yeah,
Would
actually,
you like to comment on that?
I will be coming up with two more articles on
Ah,
OSEC.
nice.
One which will come out this coming Tuesday. My article comes out every Tuesday. So it will come out this coming Tuesday and the next Tuesday again are both on OSEC again. So right now, since we're on lockdown, not just in the Philippines, but practically all countries, there are COVID cases. So in several other countries all over the world, we imposed lockdowns simultaneously, meaning people cannot leave their homes unless it's for essential activities. So in the Philippines, we are the top global source of child sexual exploitation material.
Oh my
Many
God.
factors contributed to that. First is that, of course, poverty. People are in dire need of money, so sometimes they resort to uh, illegal means to get money. Second is we have a robust money service structure because we have the largest number of overseas workers.
Yeah.
And so we need these overseas workers send money regularly to all the corners of the Philippines. So even in the farthest corners and in the provinces, in the boondocks, we have money service businesses there, which means it's easy to send
Interesting.
money to the Philippines.
Yes.
Not only easy,
Interesting.
but it's not heavily regulated, which means they can hide their identities. And then the last factor is that out of all the third world countries, we are very fluent in English. So it's easy to communicate with us. Demand for child sexual exploitation materials are usually from foreign countries, from abroad. So um, so now that we're all on lockdown, the traffickers or the facilitators, as we would also call it, have access to the children 24/7 since they're just at home. Usually, based from our operations, the traffickers are 60 to 70% of the time relatives, their own parents, or close family friends, people who have moral ascendancy over the children's, people who they trust. So, who the children trust. So, since these facilitators have access to the children 24/7, and a lot of them have lost their jobs, many of them are daily wage earners. And so they do not get paid unless they work. And since we are in lockdown and a lot of businesses were forced to shut down during the community quarantine, then they have no source of income, which pushes them further to commit these illegal acts. On the demand side, since on the demand side, they are also on lockdown,
Yes.
then it means they're just in their computers the entire day and not doing anything. Whereas before they probably had a day job, now they're just at home. So it increases the chances of them soliciting for child sexual exploitation material. So all these factors come together as a perfect storm for the rise of cases of online sexual exploitation and abuse of children. And we have the numbers. So comparing the numbers of the presence of child sexual exploitation material coming from the Philippines, it increased 200-fold during the time of the lockdown.
200.
200
200,
fold.
actually around almost 250%. So
Oh my God.
so
That's an alarming number. That's an alarming.
yes, but when it was, I think the number is also bloated in the sense that sometimes because it's computer generated, meaning every time there is a naked photo of a child appearing online, it's counted even though it's not necessarily to exploit the child. Like for instance, before I posted a photo of my daughter in my Facebook account, my personal Facebook account, she was taking a shower. So they tag that, they can tag that,
Yeah.
but it was an innocent post. So they tag that as child sexual exploitation material because it's the computer that generates it. So every time there's a naked photo, even if it's just an innocent post, not meant to exploit the child.
Yes.
Also, there were some that didn't have a nexus in the Philippines, meaning it's an error. Third, I mean, is that sometimes if it's reshared, so if I post it and someone shares it and then it's reshared and reshared, it's counted several times, even if it's just the same photo or video.
Yeah.
So that's why it bloated to such a big number, because it's not just actionable photos that are tagged by the computer. I mean, it's artificial intelligence that tags these photos, and every time it's shared, even if it's an innocent photo or a non-actionable photo, meaning it's not criminal, then it's one counted as one and one and one. So now more than ever, people are just on their computers the whole day. So
Yes.
so a lot of people have been sharing photos and videos as well.
Yeah.
What I think we should watch out for more is, rather than just those that are visible to us or are monitored by us, are those that are not monitored by us, in the sense that we don't have any technology as of yet to be able to get evidence of the sharing of these materials. So this includes live streaming videos. Because when videos are live streamed, after the live streaming, there's no trace of it anymore.
Yeah.
So that's what's hard for us law enforcers to track.
Yeah.
And I think these live streaming videos are the ones that we should be worried about, and it's, I think that maybe since we don't have the numbers, we can't say for sure, but I think that this would also be on the rise right now, because it's we are on lockdown.
Yeah.
So I think it's possible that the number you mentioned a while ago is actually on a low point, because you're saying that it could be possible that it's on the high point, and it's also possible it's on the low point, because first you said that there's actually no technology to trace or track those live streaming videos, live streaming, and on the other hand, the computer counts as part of the abuse of sharing of pictures of children who are, let's say, not really for the purpose of sharing it with malice, and the technology is counting it as one case of abuse.
Mm.
So I think it's really hard to figure out if it's really the number is really that accurate. It could be high and it could be low because there might be so many abuser who would prefer live streaming. In fact, and we cannot trace that, as you have said.
As to
We have no
as
technology.
Yeah, as to the still photos and videos that are shared on the surface, it could be a bloated number. Those that are shared on the surface, which I quoted earlier, but those that are not, meaning through live
Mhm.
streaming or the dark web, then those we have no that have no trace after they're shared, then it could be higher. Of course, we don't know. So we don't know the exact number. We have no comparison from before and after the lockdown.
Um,
This is this. I think what people don't realize is that when this happens, we are actually forging what kind of generation or society we will have in the future, because abuse, exploitation and abuse is something, it's like it's very insidious. So these are the future citizens of our country who are being abused and exploited right now, and God knows what will happen, how will they will be when they become adults.
Mm-hmm.
From Carlos Franco, maraming DH na abuse sa Middle East. Ano maganda solusyon para o partiis na lang sa kahirapan?
Well, if they're abused, they have to report that to the embassy. Because we don't want any of our Filipino workers to be abused, or anyone for that matter. And the government, through the embassies, will really do their part in terms of conducting the rescue and bringing them safely home. So it should be reported if there is an abuse. It should be reported to the embassy. If they find it difficult to report because they are being held captive, or they are not allowed to leave the house, they can find a way to communicate with IACAT through Facebook. They can send a message through Facebook to IACAT or to the embassy, because embassies have a Facebook our Philippine embassies also have a Facebook account, and they can send a pin of their location, so they can open their location and send a pin of their location, and a rescue will be conducted. So we've done that several times already for our overseas workers, not just domestic workers, but others who were victims of sexual exploitation and who were being kept prisoners inside a room where they don't know where that room is. They don't know where they are. So they just sent a pin of their location, and they were rescued and they were brought home.
Ayan.
Another question from one of the viewers, sorry. What can be done if we know of someone who is suffering physical abuse at the hands of someone in their household? Considering na a lot of people who are already experiencing abuse in their household are often hesitant to report it themselves, or afraid of their abusers, or they don't want to lose their abuser. An outsider report it?
If What do you mean? If Yes, they can call 1343 action line. So 1343, they can just dial 1343. So later I can share with you all the numbers that they can call. They can call the Women and Children Protection Center. There's one, I can give a number for Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, where they can contact their the Women and Children Protection Center. But the 1343 action line should also be working, and they can call that.
Mhm.
Attorney, you were saying
Yeah,
something?
in relation to that, naalala ko lang kasi manonood natin, mostly actually asawa ng seafarers and or seafarers themselves, no? Nare-relate ko lang kasi yung sinasabi niya about the photos kanina, na not necessarily like nude photos ng mga anak nila. Wala namang malice or intention, di ba, to share it. Kaso, sa ibang countries, paalala lang po, sa ibang countries, very serious sila sa prosecution ng child abuse. So may mga cases kami na nagdala ng laptop or cellphone, syempre yung ating seafarer, with a picture of his family. Mahilig tayo na, like after, for example, for summer, di ba? Mahilig natin magbakasyon, and yung bakasyon natin is always swimming or, di ba, outing. So, sila, syempre, normal naman yun, yung family mo, you take pictures, di ba? Kayo, yung mga anak mo, yung anak niya nga na picture, syempre, bata. So, parang nakapanty lang. And then, he has that picture in his laptop and cellphone. So, pagdating na yan ng US, pina-open sa kanya yung laptop niya. And then, nakita yung picture na yon. Hindi pinakinggan yung explanation niya na anak niya yon, and they had this summer vacation. At syempre, and had a picture. Hindi siya pinaniwalaan. So, hindi siya pinatuloy at kinancel yung visa niya. So, sa ating mga manunood na seafarer, and then sa mga wives din po, paalala po sa ating relatives na sa ibang countries, very serious sila sa prosecution ng child abuse.
Yes.
Iwasan na lang po magdala ng ganito mga pictures kahit kasi relatives or without any intention. I-check nyo lagi yung cellphone nyo and then laptops na kung may mga picture na ganyan, tanggalin na. Kasi wala ka naman dalang like, for example, birth certificate ng anak mo, pag magbibiyahe ka, paano mo ipapakita na, anak ko talaga yan? Or paano nila malalaman na yung pangalan kung sakali yung mga kahit may birth certificate kang dala, yun yung proof na yun yung ba yung anak mo, di ba?
Tama.
So, yun.
Yeah, correct.
Galing
In
po-
connection,
Sorry. Galing po kay may question po, paano po kapag nasa barko ako and malaman ko na may na-experience na ganito ang misis ko or anak ko, ano po ang pwede kong gawin? If he's overseas,
Pwedeng tumawag sa 632. So, yun yung country code natin, 63. And then yung 2 is yung code sa Manila, 1343, which is yung sinabi ko nga kanina. Or pwede mag-send ng message sa Facebook account ng IACAT. So, Interagency Council Against Trafficking.
And
yeah, I'm just saying lang kanina in connection with yung sinabi ni Attorney Mel. Kasi some no, hindi naman talaga nila intention to take a photo or post it on social media. However, they are opportunists na they will grab those photos and use it for yung mga ganong mga exploitation and everything. So natitake advantage din yung syempre yung pictures without you knowing na ginagamit na pala sa ibang sites, pornographic sites. So we should also be careful as parents or guardians ng mga young people. And also, miski yung mga grown-ups or young adults, they should be also careful in posting sa social media.
Mm-hmm.
You will never know din talaga for those opportunists. Madali rin kasi ma-access. Lalo na ngayon, medyo sobrang high-end na yung technology natin.
Susie?
Yeah. For sure, a lot of our OFWs who are at home, let's say mothers, because their husbands are in court, would like to be able to help out. And there's really not enough help desks. And now that the teachers are the kids are no longer in school, the teachers are unable to spot who are being abused, because that is part of that is part of the job of the teachers. There's a lot of training for the teachers on how to spot whether or not a child is abused. Undersecretary, are there booklets, materials, tips, reference points that we can give to mothers or regular people so that they can tell whether or not the child is being abused?
Okay, so right now there are materials available at the Interagency Council Against Trafficking site, but just for purposes of observation, I guess it's difficult. Well, I don't know if I'm competent to speak about it because it's more of psychology. It's probably, maybe we can, because we're on the prosecution side.
Understandable, yes.
I'm from the Department of Justice, so it's more of investigation, case build up, and prosecution. So it's different because there are some children who are able to hide it well.
Yes. And they will hide
Yes.
it well.
Yeah,
Yes.
and some are some of the children, in fact, that were rescued, some of them do not even see that they were doing anything wrong also, or that anything wrong was
They
being
don't realize,
done.
yes.
Yeah, they don't realize it.
Yeah.
They don't realize it because they're too innocent. They're very innocent. So because sometimes what is sometimes they are just dressing up in front of a camera.
Yeah.
So the children don't realize that they're being abused already.
Yeah.
Some of them don't realize that someone is watching them. So when they're showering, changing, but they don't know that someone is watching them because it's their facilitator that sets up a camera. So it's it's hard to tell if someone, just by observing, if someone is being abused or not. It would have to be someone who lives with them, so that they have personal knowledge of what is happening. Or usually we take the cues from the payments. So we trace the money trail. That's how we find that's how we conduct our rescues. So usually
As regular citizens, is there any way, because like I've read in the States that there are actually mothers, women who volunteer to trap yung mga cyber sex offenders. Is there any way, like here in the Philippines, na mothers like us, regular people, to help stop this? Because it's really insidious and it's really very, very it's evil.
that's why we should, as mothers, we should also control the exposure of our children. We should always know what they're accessing online, who has access to their social media accounts, who their followers are, because usually there is what we call grooming, where the sex offender can befriend the child, the minor, and they will build the trust. It will take a long time, so they can also use a fake account and pretend to be someone else, pretend to be another minor, and befriend the minor. And then when they've established trust, then they can ask, maybe you can send a photo of yourself wearing your underwear or things like that.
Oh, this question is directed to Susie. From a psychological point of view, how do we become an effective support system for someone who has been abused?
The therapy designed for abuse is quite difficult. And I'm sure Undersecretary coming from DOJ recognizes that that there are even child courts to handle these cases. And in fact, there are dolls. There are dolls that I use. They're called anatomically correct dolls, so that the child can tell the story. What was the question again? Just to make sure I answer it, Ariane. The question was.
Yeah. How do we become an effective support system for someone who has been abused?
So when they are abused, they show these signs, right? They show either their they touch their private parts in an open environment, or they all of a sudden become very distant, and they become very withdrawn. So the first movement of support is really to recognize the abuse that is happening, the possible abuse that is happening. And when the support is there, the three elements to consider are the shame that the child feels, and well, the two actually, shame and that it is their fault. And so to tackle the conversation in those two matters are important. The languaging of it cannot be your fault because you are defenseless from this position of power and lack of power, and from the position of hierarchy, you are a child and he is a grown-up. So the necessary reaction, the normal reaction to give to an adult. And so the support there would be to really listen to them and to tell them that it is not their fault, and this thing, and telling them it's not their fault, is over the years. Because my client base, the abuse happens when they're 9 years old. They will come to me when they're 30 years old. They don't want to admit because of the shame, which is the second topic. The shame, because they allowed it to happen, becomes another topic, and this shame, or this insidious trying to hide the truth that it had happened to them, has to be addressed as well. And the parent or the loved one can do so by openly communicating and using the proper language. It's not birdie, it's penis. It is not flower, it's vagina. And that kind of specific language in a very adult and very open discussion.
Undersecretary, can we shift muna topic? Because I was very interested about your work in the Hope for Lupus Foundation. And I think it's a condition that many people don't really know about. Can you share something about your this foundation?
Well, I am a lupus patient. So I was diagnosed with lupus when I was 25 years old. So I've had lupus for 13 years. And when I've experienced a lot of its symptoms prior to the diagnosis, because it takes an average of 6 years usually to diagnose lupus, because it's a very complicated disease. It mimics other diseases. So at first I was misdiagnosed to have glomerulonephritis, which is a kidney problem, where the kidney is not able to filter well. So protein and blood is present in the urine. And so I was treated for that instead of lupus, as well as at first they thought that I had leukemia, because I was destroying, my bone marrow wasn't producing enough red blood. And my red blood and hemoglobin was always so low. So I need constant blood transfusions. So it was a difficult time not knowing what was wrong with me. And until finally I was diagnosed correctly to have lupus. So I received the correct treatment. And And since then, it took me a long time to, be actually open about it. So, I just, I didn't really talk about it that much at the start. But I didn't go through depression or anything like that. There was a time that I couldn't, because one of the manifestations of lupus is joint pains. So for me, that was what was very difficult for me, because more than like the kidney problem or the blood problem, it was the joint pains, because I was dependent on other people to do daily activities, like to take a bath, to eat, to open doors. I couldn't open doors. I couldn't most of the time, if I'm having an attack, I can't walk, so I'm just lying down. So I had to quit work. Sorry, I couldn't. Maybe your mic is off.
We
No,
hear
yeah.
you. We hear you.
I hear you.
Was this while you were in school? Sorry, mic was off. Was that when you were in school or already working?
I was working in CSIP Salazar. I was a lawyer. Well, I still am, but I was working as an associate in CSIP Salazar.
Wow.
So it was, I had to quit work, and for a time for 2 months I was really just bedridden. And it was difficult because I led such an active lifestyle. I joined marathons and duathlons, and then all of a sudden I'm just in bed.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I'm not the type to get depressed easily. So I made good use of my time then, even if I'm just in bed. uh, thank God for painkillers and that I'm not allergic to it, because it helped a lot. After that, I got well when when I got diagnosed properly and I started to take my medicine, and it started to take effect. Then I was I eased my way into living a normal life already. I started to work again, and that did me well in terms of helping me, keep busy. It helped me a lot in terms of recovery. And then after I gave birth, I went through another bout of, a flare.
Mhm.
So it was, and then I was diagnosed with another illness, and it became sort of, it made me realize that I could go anytime, that I could die anytime. So then after I realized that I could just really die any day, I said that I would do everything that I wanted to do, sort of like a bucket list, do my bucket list. So one of the things that I really wanted to do is to help people like me who have
Yes.
lupus. But I wasn't able to do it for such a long time. So it took me 10 years to actually decide, okay, I'm just gonna do this. So and that's when I decided to start the foundation, and I wrote 2 books on lupus. One is in English, and I wrote it with 3 rheumatologists who are all professors at the UP College of Medicine, and practicing rheumatologists. So it's a reference and self-help book, which used to be available in bookstores, but we decided now to just make it available online.
Mhm.
So it is available online. And then I wrote a Filipino book. It's just a booklet, a shorter version, written in Filipino, which is available for free
Mhm.
in all barangay health centers around the Philippines. And the content is also available online. So that's the part about the foundation. So the foundation has now been existing for 3 years, turning 4 this year. And we help people with lupus financially.
Mhm.
And also we have regular activities for patients with lupus, because it since it's a chronic illness, we need our meds every day, all the time.
Yeah.
We depend on it. So and some of the medicines are expensive.
Mhm.
So, and of course, when we get a flare, the treatment is also expensive. So I think that's a big help to them, and also the support system that we have. We used to do regular meetups face to face, but now we just do it through Zoom also. So we check on each other, and we have wellness activities. So I've developed a lot of good friendships with those with lupus like me. So it's been great for the past 3 years and a half with the foundation, and with my friends who are fellow lupus warriors.
That's really admirable. I mean, it takes courage to admit to something like that. I mean, I have psoriasis, and it's really difficult. Like when I accidentally eat something that I'm not supposed to eat, and it's really uncomfortable, And just when I was growing up, I would get teased about it because it manifested on my nails, so they don't look normal, and I got teased a lot about it. It was very difficult to be judged for it, so I find it admirable that when there is something that's unfamiliar to everyone, somebody can step up and talk about it bravely.
Well, one of the things that I experienced, that I also, in a way can relate to you, because I lost my hair 3 times already, like through my lupus life. It's one of the manifestations. So one time it was almost completely gone. So usually for the large part of my lupus life, I'm just wearing extensions. So extensions or wig, a full wig. So and sometimes when it gets thicker already, I don't wear extensions, but I have a lot of bald spots. So until now, I have a lot of bald spots. So sometimes it's difficult to hide it. So people usually make fun of me because of the bald spots, or I get really conscious. But I just realize it's very superficial. But to some people, I think it means a lot to them, like to lose their hair. A lot of people get depressed. So I just, when I talk to them about it and say, my fellow lupus warriors, I say that, it's nothing, it's just hair. And I think for me, for me, like getting my hair done and putting extensions, it makes me feel better to just look like myself. Or like when I have severe rashes, sometimes, like when I was still in Congress, and I had to go out and attend session with severe rashes. Sometimes it's embarrassing, especially there's a lot of media all the time in Congress, and in social media you get bashed a lot for not looking perfect. So it's hard to deal with those things, but I guess you just have to realize that those things are not important, and it's temporary. That's what I keep on telling myself. It's temporary. It'll be gone in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or my hair will eventually grow. So I guess we just have to also show kindness to others.
That's true.
And promote that culture of kindness.
Yes.
I totally agree with that. It's not easy to to live with something that people judge you for. And yes, I got a message. Undersecretary, we are really thankful. I think that for me, you're perfect. All your work, knowing that you're a mother, you're a wife.
Yes.
You have lupus. You work. You studied your way to law school. You're serving the country. For me, that's perfect.
Yes. To undergo so much and to be able to have achieved what you have and what you continue to do, in spite of the challenges that you've had, the personal challenges that you've had, because not everybody has what you have, and I don't think everybody could have or would have succeeded as much as you and triumphed over such a big personal challenge. So, yeah, what a great job you're doing.
Well, I couldn't have done it, without all of other people helping me, like my family and everyone. I have a good support system. So I can't say that it's just me. It's, and of course, always praying and asking for God's help. So only by God's grace.
Well, that's great. Yeah. Everything through God's grace. Yes.
Thank you so much for
Everyone, thank
joining
you
us
for,
today.
thank you
And
for having me.
I really hope to see you in the Senate soon.
No,
That's
my
really,
mother.
I've been really wishing for that. We really need someone like a good leader like you
No,
for women also.
I said that I've been burnt out with my job right now, and one of the things I realized with this lockdown is that I've been missing a lot of time with my daughter. I just look at her one day and she's so big already. So I like this time when I get to spend a lot of time with her and cherish those moments that I wasn't able to at the start because I have so much work. So there, I might just dial down on the work that I've been doing.
Yeah. Pick your projects.
Pick your
Yeah,
projects.
that's right.
Yeah, like, you know what? Ako, yung daughter ko, my youngest, she's, I was baking, and then when I turned, oh my God, I'm gandito na lang pala ako. I didn't even, so, I didn't really, I mean, it's not like I'm the tallest person in the world, but to see that gandito na lang ako, it's like, wow, time flies so fast.
That's true.
So thank you so much for your time and for
Thank you for having
inspiring
me.
everyone. It's really always inspirational to talk to you and be with you. Thank you
Thank
so
you very much.
Thank you.
And tomorrow, join us again for Woman Up. Kasama naman po namin si Mr. Luke Mejares. So see you again next week. And please don't forget to Woman Up. Bye.
Oh, bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary.
Thank you also.